The brass band hit a bright final note just as the bride threw the bouquet. I was standing at the edge of the dance floor with a glass of sparkling water, a lime wedge floating against the rim, when a blur of dusty pink roses sailed over 6 reaching hands. Claire Morgan did not jump. She simply lifted one hand. The bouquet landed against her palm. The room exploded with applause. Claire froze beneath the string lights, bouquet held near her shoulder, then turned until she found me standing beside a high-top table. Her smile arrived a second before the rest of her expression did. "Your turn?" I lifted my glass. The probability of me catching one from here is extremely low. That got a laugh. Then her phone vibrated inside her clutch. The smile disappeared. Claire read one message, then another. Her fingers tightened around the bouquet ribbon. "What happened?" I asked. She looked toward the wedding guests before lowering her voice. "A confidential logistics file was downloaded from my company's secure system at 4:02 this afternoon." "And?" "The audit log says my administrative ID did it." The band started another song behind us. Claire did not move. I was upstairs helping Daniel's wife with the wedding party when the file was accessed. "Daniel Brooks was my coworker, Claire's younger brother, and the reason I had come to the wedding in the first place." "Who reported it?" "Marcus." That name I knew. Marcus Vale, VP of Engineering at Apex Solutions. Daniel had complained about him more than once. Claire continued. "He filed a formal security complaint 20 minutes ago. He's been trying to absorb logistics into engineering for 6 months. If the board accepts this as an internal leak, he gets the argument he's been waiting for." "When does the board review it?" "Monday, 8 in the morning. It was Saturday night. Less than 36 hours. If I can't show that my credentials were spoofed, they suspend me pending investigation. Marcus takes operational control of my division." There it was. The reason she could not simply ignore the phone and return to the dance floor. The reason she could not wait for normal corporate procedure. The emergency audit was already scheduled. The accusation was already in writing. And because Claire's access credentials were involved, her own internal IT team had been instructed to preserve systems rather than conduct an informal investigation for her. She could not hand confidential server data to me either. Her NDA and company security policy made that clear. But she could lawfully access the audit export generated for her administrative account. And analyzing patterns in large datasets was exactly what I did for a living. That was my reason for getting involved. Not romance. Not the bouquet. A problem had landed in front of me that belonged to my skill set. And Daniel was one of the few coworkers I trusted enough to give up a weekend for. Claire looked at the bouquet in her hand. "Sorry. Apparently flowers are not the most dangerous thing I'm catching tonight. You should put that on a greeting card." Her mouth twitched. Then she looked at me again. "You really are Daniel's strange data scientist." "I prefer selectively social." Daniel said quiet. "Daniel lacks nuance." Her grip on the ribbon loosened slightly. Behind us, the bride was being pulled toward the dance floor. Claire's phone buzzed again. This time she turned it face down on the table. "I need to get back to the hotel. I have a car coming." She glanced toward the entrance. "The shuttle? Left early?" Her eyes narrowed. "You planned ahead?" "I dislike waiting in parking lots wearing formal shoes. That may be the most sensible thing anyone has said to me tonight." I picked up my sparkling water. "Give it time?" 20 minutes later, we were in the back of a sedan heading toward the downtown hotel. Claire still wore the dusty pink wedding dress, but she had placed the bouquet carefully between us on the seat. The flowers trembled every time the car crossed a rough patch of asphalt. She opened her laptop. A secure corporate portal displayed the audit package that had been automatically generated after Marcus filed the incident report. "What am I allowed to see?" I asked. "This export." She turned the screen toward me. "Compliance sent it to me because the disputed account is mine. Read-only audit CSV, login history, and event summary. I can share it with retained counsel or an approved technical advisor, but not raw production data." Am I approved? Not yet. Then don't send me anything. Claire blinked. You're refusing? I'm preventing the Monday board meeting from becoming a discussion about why you violated policy while trying to prove you didn't violate policy. She stared at me for half a second, then closed the file. That is annoyingly reasonable. I hear that often. No, you don't. No. Her phone appeared in her hand. She called the company's after-hours legal hotline. Within 10 minutes, she had spoken with board counsel and received authorization to retain me as an external analytical consultant limited to the audit export already provided to her. No server access. No production credentials. No internal systems. Just data she was legally allowed to review. When she ended the call, I held up my hand. Now we can work. Claire sent the encrypted package to a temporary secure workspace created by counsel. I opened it on my laptop. 500,000 rows. Authentication events. Gateway identifiers. Session timestamps. Network latency measurements. One field caught my eye almost immediately. Interesting. Claire looked up. What? The request using your ID came from an external path. How can you tell? Latency? I pointed to the row. 138 milliseconds. She leaned closer. And normal? Your office traffic should be a fraction of that. Her shoulder brushed mine for half a second. Neither of us moved. Then Claire looked back at the screen. So somebody used my credentials remotely. Maybe? Her expression tightened. Maybe? This proves the request did not originate through the normal local network path. It does not prove who sent it. The first hopeful light in her face dimmed. I continued before she could spiral. There's something else. A field near the bottom of the export carried a replication identifier. MNT-RPL-02. What is that? She asked. Looks like a legacy maintenance replica. Marcus's team retired the old maintenance servers last year. Apparently not completely. I wrote the identifier on the back of the hotel receipt. Do not touch it. I wasn't planning to. Good. This becomes a preservation request for an authorized forensic examiner. Claire looked at the note. You think the replica may have retained a cleaner copy? I think it may contain additional metadata. Different thing. She nodded. That mattered. She listened when the answer was less convenient than what she wanted. By the time we reached the hotel, Daniel was waiting in the lobby. His tie hung loose, his suit jacket was gone. He looked from Claire to me, then to the bouquet. I leave my wedding reception for 40 minutes, and somehow my sister kidnaps our data scientist. Claire handed him the bouquet. Hold this. Daniel took it automatically. I just got married. I should not be holding this. You're already disqualified. Daniel looked at me. What happened? Claire told him. The humor left his face. At 4:02? Yes. Daniel frowned. You were upstairs. I know. No, I mean I can prove it. Claire stopped. Daniel pulled out his phone. The photographer took getting ready photos until 4:10. Mia had the zipper problem at 4. You were in the half the pictures because you were holding the emergency sewing kit. Claire stared at him. Those have timestamps? Camera metadata. Photographer also had a second shooter filming hallway footage. I looked at Daniel. That helps, Claire said. It doesn't prove I didn't schedule a remote task. No, I replied. But it removes one story Marcus can tell. Daniel handed the bouquet back. I'll call the photographer. Claire touched his wrist. You're supposed to be at your wedding. My wife is currently dancing with 3 cousins in a cardboard cutout of our college mascot. I have a few minutes. He stepped away to make the call. Claire watched him go. You trust him? I said. He's my brother. That wasn't my question. She looked at me. Yes. Good. And you? What about me? Do you trust Daniel? He approves my dataset cleaning extensions without pretending 200 million rows can be fixed by enthusiasm. That is the most romantic description of friendship I have ever heard. I'm known for warmth. She smiled. The hotel business center was empty. Fluorescent lights buzzed over 4 laminate desks and a printer that looked old enough to remember dial-up internet. Claire disappeared upstairs long enough to change into dark slacks and a gray sweater. When she returned, I was already setting up. She placed 2 cups on the table. 1 black coffee. 1 espresso. You take it black, right? I looked at the cup. You noticed, you spent the entire reception protecting a sparkling water with a lime wedge like it contained classified material. I assumed you were particular. That logic is terrible. Is the coffee correct? Yes. Then the model works. I moved the drink farther from my laptop. Model has room for improvement. We worked until after midnight. I wrote a local analysis script against the authorized audit export. Nothing touched Apex's systems. Nothing bypassed security. We were looking for patterns that could tell the company's own forensic team where to look next. The external latency anomaly appeared repeatedly in the same short window. More importantly, each suspicious request referenced the same legacy replication identifier, MNT-RPL-02. I turned my phone face down on the far corner of the desk. Claire noticed. You can answer messages. They'll still exist tomorrow. You don't know that. I have moderate confidence. She shook her head. For the next 20 minutes, only keys and fluorescent hum filled the room. Then my analysis completed. A soft chime sounded. Claire sat upright. I filtered the sessions. 3 suspicious events. Same administrative ID, same external route, same maintenance replica reference. Different packet sizes. That looks deliberate, she said. It looks consistent. You refuse to use dramatic language even at 1 in the morning? It produces bad analysis. She rubbed one temple. I stood. 5-minute break. I don't need one. That was not a question. Claire gave me a look. I lifted my empty cup. The script needs nothing from us for 5 minutes. The lobby cafe has fresh coffee. Your current one qualifies as a chemical weapon. She looked at the cup. That bad? I'm considering notifying the board. She laughed. A real one. We left the business center. The hotel lobby had gone quiet. Wedding guests drifted past in small groups carrying shoes, jackets, and pieces of cake wrapped in napkins. Daniel appeared near the elevators with his new wife, Mia. Mia still wore her wedding gown. She looked at us. Then at Claire. Then at me. Oh. Claire narrowed her eyes. Do not... I didn't say anything. You married my brother 6 hours ago. You've already inherited his lack of subtlety. Daniel handed Claire a phone. The photographer sent originals. We opened one image. Timestamp 4:01:42. Claire stood beside Mia in the bridal suite, holding a sewing kit. Another at 4:03. Another at 4:06, Daniel said. The video guy has continuous hallway footage too. I nodded. Preserve the original files. Don't edit them. Photographers should retain copies. Claire looked at me. You sound like an evidence label. It's a gift. Mia smiled. Claire, go back to work before your consultant becomes interesting. Claire pointed at her. You are very new to this family. Mia kissed Daniel's cheek. And already thriving. For 5 minutes, the crisis loosened its grip. Claire bought fresh coffee. When we returned to the business center, she tied the bouquet ribbon Daniel had accidentally kept around the handle of her paper cup. I noticed decoration, evidence of poor inventory management. Daniel? Obviously, the pink ribbon stayed there for the rest of the night. At 2:30 Sunday morning, Claire called board counsel again. This time the request was specific. We found repeated references to a legacy maintenance replica in the authorized audit export. I want it preserved before routine rotation or cleanup changes anything. Counsel contacted the company's incident response vendor. At 3:15, we received a call from Dr. Maya Chen, lead forensic examiner for North Star Response. Her voice came through the speakerphone. I have written authorization from board counsel to preserve the relevant systems and authentication records. Ms. Morgan, you and Mr. Carter should not access anything beyond your provided export. We haven't, Claire said. Good. I gave Maya the two observations. External latency. Legacy replication IDA. She asked technical questions. I answered only from the export. No conclusions yet, Maya said. Those are investigative leads, not attribution. Claire glanced at me. I nodded. Exactly, Maya continued. My team will collect server and endpoint images using company-authorized credentials, preserve originals, calculate hashes at acquisition, and document chain of custody. If the maintenance replica still exists, we'll preserve that too. How long? Claire asked. I can give counsel a preliminary factual report Sunday evening. Full analysis takes longer. The board meets at 8 Monday? I know. Claire closed her eyes for half a second. Thank you. After the call ended, she looked toward the ribbon around her coffee cup. What if the forensic report isn't done? Then you present what is verified, which may not clear me. No. She pressed her fingertips against the paper cup. The ribbon moved beneath them. I did not tell her it would be fine. I opened a clean document. Then we prepare 2 board cases. Claire looked at me. One if they identify the actual source, one if they only confirm your account was accessed through an external route. She pulled her chair closer. What does the second case say? That the company cannot reasonably terminate a VP based on an unresolved authentication event while independent forensic review is active. That sounds like legal language. It sounds like something counsel should write better. Her mouth twitched. We call them in the morning. Exactly. By sunrise, the first crisis had become a plan. Claire went upstairs and slept for 3 hours. I stayed in the business center another 20 minutes, cleaned my working files from the hotel machine, confirmed the secure workspace remained controlled by counsel, and shut my laptop. Then I slept too. At 11 Sunday morning, Claire woke me with black coffee. I opened my hotel room door. She held out the cup. The same pink ribbon was tied around it. You stole that from yesterday. Reused. Efficient. I run logistics. You mentioned. Her hair was pulled into a simple ponytail. No wedding makeup, no corporate suit. She looked tired. She also looked steadier. Maya called, Claire said. They preserved the maintenance replica. Good. And Marcus revoked my administrative access at 7 this morning. That woke me completely. Did you try logging in after revocation? No. Good. I called counsel instead. Better. Claire handed me a second sheet of paper. A formal notice. Marcus had suspended Claire's access pending the board audit, citing security protocol. She pointed to the final paragraph. He requested temporary operational control of logistics until Monday. Board approved? No, chair deferred it. Who is chair? Evelyn Shaw. Smart woman. You haven't met her. She deferred the person trying to benefit from an unresolved accusation. Fair. I stepped aside. Claire entered. She sat at the small desk while I opened my laptop. Daniel also called, she said. What did he break? Nothing. Apparently marriage hasn't changed him yet. Disappointing. He has the photographer's original files and written confirmation from both photographers. Mia also remembered a hotel security camera outside the bridal suite. That footage may have retention limits. He already asked the hotel to preserve it. I looked at her. Your brother is useful. Do not tell him. Never. Sunday afternoon passed in pieces. Maya sent factual updates through counsel. The suspicious sessions were real. The external routing anomaly was real. The maintenance replica contained authentication metadata no longer present in the simplified audit export. But attribution required endpoint correlation. At 4, Maya called again. We found that the suspicious session token was created from an engineering workstation. Claire's fingers stopped around her coffee. Which workstation? I'm not giving attribution until the endpoint image is validated. Claire exhaled through her nose. I almost smiled. Maya had the same allergy to premature conclusions that I did. Fair, Claire said. We expect the validation tonight. After the call ended, Claire stared at the table. Engineering? Large department? Marcus runs it. Still a large department. You are exceptionally frustrating. So I've been told. She looked at me, then laughed. It was brief, but enough. At 6, Daniel arrived with sandwiches. You two look terrible. Claire took the bag from him. You're supposed to be on your honeymoon. We leave Tuesday. You planned a 2-day delay? Mia wanted 1 recovery day after the wedding. I nodded. Strong operational design? Daniel pointed at me. See, this is why I invited him. Claire unwrapped a sandwich. You invited him because he once fixed your quarterly forecast in 15 minutes. Also true. Daniel placed an envelope beside Claire. Inside were certified copies of the photographer metadata and the hotel's preservation confirmation. Not proof that Claire could not have scheduled something remotely, but independent evidence that she was physically away from Apex headquarters when the incident occurred. Daniel sat across from her. Do you need me Monday? Claire looked at him. You have work? I'm also your brother. She hesitated, then nodded. Come. He smiled. Done. After he left, Claire traced one finger over the pink ribbon around her cup. You know what's strange? Several things. I was angry when I caught the bouquet. Why? Because everyone cheered like my life had suddenly become a countdown to marriage. And then your actual countdown arrived. She looked at me. Exactly. I glanced at the ribbon. The bouquet has terrible timing. Localized draft. Still my leading theory? She smiled. That was the second time the wedding had found its way back into the room. At 8:40 Sunday evening, Maya called. Claire put the phone on speaker. Daniel had returned and sat near the printer. Board counsel was also on the line. Maya spoke first. We completed validation of the relevant endpoint records. No one moved. The session token associated with the disputed file access originated from an engineering workstation assigned to Marcus Vale's office. Claire's hand tightened around the edge of the table. Maya continued before anyone could react. The workstation image shows the account session creating the external proxy connection, followed by authentication under Ms. Morgan's administrative ID. Daniel whispered, That's him. Maya corrected him. That is a Marcus-assigned workstation. We still need to distinguish user attribution from device attribution. I looked at Daniel. He closed his mouth. Maya continued. We also recovered security camera access logs showing Mr. Vale's badge entering the engineering floor approximately 20 minutes before the disputed session. That strengthens the timeline, but is still one part of the full record. Claire asked, What will you say Monday? That your administrative credentials were used through a session originating on a workstation assigned to engineering, not through your ordinary local access path. I will also state that independent forensic analysis has not found evidence connecting your wedding location devices to the access event. Will you name Marcus? I'll describe verified facts. The board can decide employment action. Claire nodded slowly. Thank you. When the call ended, Daniel stood. Claire. She looked at him. He opened his arms. She crossed the room and hugged him. I looked away. Not because the moment was private, because it belonged to them. When Claire returned to the table, she sat beside me instead of across from me. The business center felt smaller. She looked at the screen where Monday 8 o'clock was still written on my digital note. You stayed? Yes. Even after Maya took over? Yes. You could have left hours ago. Yes. Your conversational range is remarkable. I saved the longer answers for emergencies. Claire looked down at her hands. I've spent 3 years fighting Marcus over budgets, systems, staffing. Every time something went wrong, I assumed I had to solve it before anyone could use it against me. I did not answer with a speech. I turned the laptop toward her. 2 documents waited on screen. Verified forensic timeline? Board presentation outline? Tomorrow. Maya handles forensics. Council handles policy. Daniel handles the wedding timeline. I pointed to the last section. You handle your division. Claire looked at it. What do you handle? Coffee. She laughed. Then her fingers brushed mine near the trackpad. Neither of us moved away immediately. The fluorescent lights still buzzed. The printer still smelled like hot plastic. Nothing about the room had become romantic. And yet I did not want to leave. Monday morning came too quickly. Apex Solutions occupied 22 floors of glass above the financial district. At 7:40, Claire stood outside the executive boardroom in a navy suit with her leather portfolio under one arm. Daniel stood beside her. Doctor, Maya Chen had joined by secure video from North Star's office. Evelyn Shaw, the board chair, entered last. She was in her 60s, silver-haired and direct. Ms. Morgan? Evelyn? Mr. Vale is already inside. Claire nodded. Evelyn's eyes moved to me. And you are? Ethan Carter, external analytical consultant authorized by counsel for the initial audit export. Will you be presenting? No. Dr. Chen handles forensic findings. Evelyn gave the smallest nod. Good answer. I stayed outside the room. That was where I belonged. Claire had all the tools now. At 8 sharp, the doors closed. I went downstairs to the lobby cafe. Black coffee. No lime wedge this time. I set my phone face down beside the cup. Then waited. 40 minutes passed. At 8:43, Daniel appeared from the elevators. He spotted me. Still here? I'm evaluating the coffee. It's terrible. Confirmed. What happened? Daniel sat. Maya presented first. She walked through acquisition process, chain of custody, hashes, endpoint correlation, badge timing, no drama. Good. Marcus argued his workstation could have been used by someone else. Reasonable defense. Daniel stared at me. You're not supposed to agree with him. I'm supposed to agree with facts. Claire does this thing where she looks at you like she wants to throw something. I've noticed. Daniel leaned back. Then Claire presented. What did she say? She didn't spend much time defending herself. That interested me. She showed the board how Marcus's engineering team had retained shared administrative structures long after logistics requested role separation. Then she presented a remediation plan. I almost smiled. Of course she did. Daniel continued. Separate credentials, hardware authentication, independent security review, new access logging, cross-department approval for privileged sessions. She turned the accusation into a systems proposal. Yeah. And? Board voted to clear her from immediate suspension. My shoulders dropped. Only then did I realize how tight they had been. Marcus? Placed on administrative leave. His access is suspended pending completion of the forensic investigation. Correct process. Daniel looked at me. You two are exhausting. The elevator chimed again. Claire stepped into the lobby. She saw us. Daniel stood. Claire walked over and hugged him first. Thank you for the photos. You're welcome. You should go find your wife. She told me the same thing. Daniel looked between us. Then a slow smile appeared. I suddenly agree with her. Claire pointed toward the elevators. Go! Daniel went. Claire remained across from me. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The lobby noise flowed around us. Phones, shoes, coffee machines, elevators. Claire set her portfolio on the table. How bad is the coffee? Statistically hostile? She smiled. Then opened the portfolio. Inside, tucked beneath the board report, was a narrow, dusty pink ribbon. The Bouquet ribbon. You kept it. Daniel gave it back. Evidence of poor inventory management? Something like that. She sat. The board cleared me from suspension. Logistics remains independent. They also approved my security redesign. I heard, of course you did. Daniel has poor confidentiality discipline. He just got married. We'll retrain him. What about Marcus? Administrative leave until North Star completes attribution. HR and counsel will decide after that. Good. Claire looked at me. This is where normal people say congratulations. Congratulations. That sounded painful. I'm recovering. A server set down a fresh cup of black coffee. Claire had ordered it before coming over. No sugar. No cream. The pink ribbon was tied loosely around the cardboard sleeve. I looked at it. Your evidence is contaminating my coffee. That is not how evidence works. I'm the consultant. You're off the clock. That landed differently. Claire folded her hands. Maya expects final attribution by Wednesday. If it confirms what the preliminary report suggests, the board will decide Marcus's employment then. So this isn't magically finished? No. Good. She narrowed her eyes. You enjoy saying that. I enjoy processes that don't pretend certainty before they have it. Claire looked toward the elevators. Then back at me. I did something else in the boardroom. Security redesign? Besides that, I waited. I told them outside expertise should be retained for the new analytics architecture. That sounds expensive. It will be. I'm not joining Apex. I know. Good. There it is again. She smiled. I wasn't offering you a job. Excellent. I was protecting your ability to say no before Daniel starts recruiting. That is thoughtful. I can occasionally be thoughtful. I'll update the model. Claire's fingers moved to the pink ribbon. There's a department dinner Friday. Celebration. Assuming North Star closes the attribution review. And if they don't? Then it becomes dinner without a banner. Flexible. The executive board will be there. I nodded. She held my gaze. I'm expected to bring someone a logistics problem. I already solved it. I waited. Claire's smile was different from the one under the wedding lights. No crowd watching. No bouquet shielding her. No white-knuckled stems. Daniel already knows I'm bringing you as my date. There it was. Clear enough that even I could not reduce it to statistics. You told Daniel before asking me? I manage risk? That seems premature. Was I wrong? I looked at the black coffee, at the dusty pink ribbon, then at her. No. Claire's shoulders eased. Friday? I'll be there. As my date? I understood the variable. Just confirming. She stood. I stood with her. For half a second, she hesitated. Then Claire reached out and took my hand. Not my sleeve. Not my forearm. My hand. The lobby continued around us. Public enough. Deliberate enough. Her choice. She squeezed once. The bouquet was wrong, by the way. About what? Whose turn it was? I told you the trajectory was compromised. Localized draft? Obviously. Claire laughed. The same laugh she had given me Saturday night beneath the string lights. Only this time there was no crowd cheering because she had caught something. No emergency message arriving. No Marcus waiting behind the next notification. Just Monday morning, black coffee and her hand in mine. Wednesday afternoon, North Star completed the forensic report. The evidence confirmed Marcus had authenticated into the assigned engineering workstation during the relevant session. Company counsel completed its review. Marcus resigned before the disciplinary hearing rather than contest the findings. Claire did not celebrate his resignation. She sent Daniel one message. "It's finished." Then she called me. "Friday dinner still happening?" "Yes." "Banner?" "No banner." "Good." "Why?" "Banners imply poor statistical discipline." "You are impossible. You caught the bouquet." "That was the draft." "Correct." Friday evening, I walked into Apex's private dining room carrying another sparkling water with a lime wedge. Claire was already there. Dusty pink ribbon tied around the stem of an empty champagne flute beside her place setting. Daniel saw me first. He grinned. "You actually came. I was informed this was statistically unavoidable." Claire turned. Her eyes found mine. No practiced corporate smile. No crisis. Just warmth. She walked across the room and stopped beside me. "You're late by 43 seconds. That's within acceptable tolerance. For you. For everyone." She took my hand. Daniel made an exaggerated choking sound from across the room. Claire did not let go. Neither did I. The end. Closing thoughts. By Monday morning, the part I wanted to remember wasn't the server log. It was that when Claire finally had a choice, she still asked me to stay. The green flag was simple. She trusted the process, and we kept showing up for each other. Please like and subscribe so we can share more stories like this.